Hi, this is Rob C. Music, aka Musi. Welcome to my channel of plane, trains, flight simulation, and all sorts of things. Today we're going to be focusing on using Radar Flight 24, and they have a capability of importing your flights on from Radar 24 onto myFlightradar24, and you can keep track of your flights you've been on, the routes you've been on, what aircraft numbers and registration you've been on. So we're just going to highlight some of the facets of this website. And if you're a Delta Airlines employee, this is also beneficial because you can go to your flight history on the Delta employee website, download a spreadsheet, and then import that to Radar Flight 24. Then all you have to do is just put in the aircraft number, your seat number, and your class of service that you attended while flying on Delta Airlines. Let's get started with no further ado. So this is Radar Flight 24. And here's the website that you go to, and you signed in. You can create an account, sign in, and get started. So what we want to do is come down here, and we're going to just export a file. And I believe I'm still signed in. So just to give you a familiarization, these are some of the flights I did last year. And so I want to export this into a spreadsheet. So I click on export, and it'll come up and say download CSV file. I just press that, and it's downloading, and it's going to come up and show your flight diary in the present date. And then you can go to your folder and your download folder and just open it up into a spreadsheet. But now if you're a Delta Airlines employee or any other airline employee, and if you can get your flight history, some way of getting your flight history that you've been on, or if you have another spreadsheet you can use to upload that information of Radar Flight 24. It makes life a lot more easier and a lot less typing, of course. So what we're going to do, let's say for example you're a Delta Airline employee, you go on the website, Delta Employee Travel website, and under let's see here, under the full HTM, under the full HTM link, tap that, and you want to go to view your travel history. So once you bring up your travel history, when you get on that page, you're going to see this here in the upper right hand channel. You're going to see a Excel symbol and a printer, and that upper right hand corner, tap or click, and it'll download your travel history onto your computer or laptop or phone, and then you have to go to your download file and open it, and then using then your Excel. I suggest using Excel if you're very familiar with that, and then you can go about changes and updating that, so you can transport that or export that to Radar Flight myFlight 24. So as you notice right here, it downloaded the sheet My Account Travel History Report, and I hit download. And then once I do that, then I can go over here in my download folder, and if I can click on that particular file that I downloaded, and it should come up something like this here. You're going to get a file that's similar to this right here, past writer name. And so what you want to do with that Excel file, you got to transfer it back to this type of file here, which is myFlightradar24. Read this format from the date, flight number, to and from, departure time, aircraft registration, and the seat types I'm not too familiar with, but I believe 0 is first class, 1 is business class, 2 is coach, and 3 is economy. And I believe that's how it's working it in the flight class. And I think the window seats are 1, center seats are 2, aisle seats are 3. And so it has to be in this format, okay? It has to be in this format, date, flight number, to, from, all the way across over here to aircraft ID. It has to be in that format. So the way you do that is, number one, save like 2 copies in case you make a mistake. the file that you downloaded or the CSV file that you have created that you want to export it back to myFlight24. I would suggest making 2 or 3 of those as a backup in case you make a mistake and you can't fix it and get out of it because you're not familiar with Excel properties. So you always have a backup copy of a backup copy, and then that way if you make any mistakes you can go back and revert and correct it. Okay, very good. So once I got the my flight history downloaded from my employer, then I'll open it up in Excel. And so what you can do now is we got to convert it back to myFlightradar Flight 24 format. And the way we do that is this. Okay, so I got the spreadsheet up here now, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to get started. So I'm just going to take this just one step at a time here. I'm going to start on row number 5, and you notice that the airline is not in this column right here. So what I'm going to do is, if whatever airline you work for, I'm just going to do maybe, we just do 5 columns, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click and highlight row 5 down to row 10 here. And yes, row 5 to row 10. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to format this to format the cell to show Delta in front of these flight numbers. Now, if you was on SkyWest, Endeavor, or PSA, or Air Wisconsin, if you got the ID, same format, same concept. So what I'm gonna do is click on Format Cell, and then go down here to Custom. And what I'm gonna do is, I may already have, nope, oh, yes I do, I have it in here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna type in, under type, you go to custom, and then under type in the quotation marks, and then put your airline in there. In this case, it's going to be DL. So I'm typing there DL, and that stands for Delta. Okay, DL, or whatever airline carrier you have. Now, if you can, and then another quotation mark right there. And then these hashtags mark, I got 4 of them, but I'm going to add one more in case I get a flight number that's Delta 10,002 Bravo. That way I can put all that flight information in there. And then, but the hashtag means just an extra character you can put in there. So I'm going to put 5, and you can do it with 4. But that's what that means. You can put the flight number after, the flight number is automatically going to be added. So now if I click OK, now notice this. Notice I'm working on these 5 rows right here. And you notice I just got the flight number. So I'm going to click OK. And now I got Delta flight number in that column. And what you can do, you can highlight every column that you felt that is your airline and put the 2-letter abbreviation in there. Now what I want to do and what I have to do is over here, I'm just going to do this right here. So we got to separate, in this concept right here, we got to separate Phoenix and Minneapolis. We got to separate the origin and destination. If you're a Delta Airline employee, is going to be downloaded in this format in a CSV file. So you got to reformat to show the departure city and the arrival city. So this is the format they want. Let's see, we can, this here, from and to, okay, I'm sorry, from and to. You got to have the city that you're departing from and the city you're going to in separate rows. So in order to convert that spreadsheet in that format, what we do right here is I'm just going to do one at a time here so we can get the concept down very easily. You see, I just clicked on this part here, Phoenix to Minneapolis. Then I'm going to go over here to text to column. I'm going to click that right there, click delimited, and then go to next. And then here, I'm going to click other and put a slash in there because we want to take out that slash, and then treat consecutive. And then I'm going to click next, just to give an idea. And so you see this right here, it says $, F as in Fox, $5. That is the destination or cell you want this information to start at. So in this case, I wanted to go here on line number 5 in column G. So that'll be G5, okay? So here I'm going to type in here, come over here and type in, oh, I just messed it up here. Let me get this together. Okay, so I want to show that as column G, and row 5. So I go $ G, or the column, $ the row number, and then I can click, well, I'm just going to click next, and we're going to see if it goes in correctly. And let me see what happens here. There we go. So you notice it says Phoenix to Minneapolis. Let's just do that one more time. Okay, so we're going to do it one more time. One more time. Okay, so let's go in here. Where am I? There we go. Okay, so we're going to do from line 6 to 10 here. And there, okay, we highlighted rows 6 to 10. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go once again over here, text to column, delimited, and you notice here, there I have rows here that I want to take that slash out and separate it into another column, and I explain that reason here in another moment. And then I'm gonna go to next, other, and then have that slash sign taken out, treat it as consecutive, and then I gotta tell where the destination folder is going to be. So in this case, we're going to be column G, and then if you go over here, it's going to be 6. So I have to change this to G, and I'm going to take out that F. And so now we're going to check it one more time, column G and row 6, and we're going to click next. And then let's just click finish, and I'm gonna hit yes, and there we go. Now the reason why we have to separate this column, I'm gonna explain again. The reason why, because we gotta now place that into the file that we gotta upload to Radar Flight 24. So if you notice on Radar Flight 24, you notice on Radar Flight 24, we got the date, we got the flight number, and we got the cities from. So now what I can do, I can take this column, I can copy this column from the from and paste it in here, and then this column here, which is the destination on this particular screen, I can place the destination, line it up correctly, and place it under 2. And then the last thing that I have to do is over here under date. Now if you notice, at the date format for my employer, they use slashes for the date. So in this case, it was December the 13th, 2023. So what I have to do, if we take a look at the myFlightradar24 date format, what I have to do is convert that date to day, month, and year, as you notice in this column where my cursor is. So in other words, myFlightradar24 wants this in the day, which in this case is going to be 13-12, which means December-23. That's the format myFlightradar Flight 24 wants. So what I can do, it stopped working on me for some reason. Maybe there's a bad connection, or maybe there's something wrong with my sheet right now. But what you can do under here, if you right click on that date column, go down to format cell and proceed down to date, and you notice this date format is in the day, year. I'm sorry, let me start all over again. It's the day, the month, then the year. If I click OK, it was working for me earlier, but if I click OK, it will correct that for me. But since I got so many windows open and I got several Excel sheets open in the background, for some reason it's not working and converting that for me properly. So if this happens to you, unfortunately, if you can think of a faster way to take that slash out and make it day, month, and year. That's important for the upload. So in this case, once again, this would be the 13, and you got to have a dash, 12-2023. In this case, it'd be just 23, and enter that, and that's the format that it wants. You may, if you're proficient with Excel, you may know a way to change all of that quickly, but that format was working for me with no problem, so that I can do a proper upload to my flight. Now, what you can do is once you get all the data filled in on the worksheet that you're working on, what you could do is delete these rows right here and just start out with the flight number, or copy this over to column A, because all you need for the upload file is the date column, flight number, departure date. In this case would be, I'm sorry, departure date will fall under this column here, then the flight number, and then from, in my case, is this column right here, and I just can label this to from. Let's do this again here, from, and then to, and then that way we can have the proper format to send over to myFlight24. But remember, everything has to be converted to this particular format. And I may have mentioned earlier under airline and ID to put the aircraft numbers in there. You may want to just leave this blank so that myFlight24 can read that correctly. So yes, that's it. Hopefully that should save you some time. If not, what you can do is just type in every flight manually in this format right here and upload it. So far, I've been practicing reloading this again, and it seems to just overwrite my data that I had in there before. Like say, for example, flight 82 here on the 6th, January the 6th, it just overwrit it. It did not change anything. So I'm figuring if you need to do changes, just do whatever changes you hear and just upload it. See if that works for you. If not, if you already have this on Radar Flight 24, just delete this. But remember to enter your new flights in this particular format and then upload it to myFlight24. So yes, here's some bonus suggestions that I've noticed on Radar 24. Here's some bonuses that may help you out. First of all, let's see here. I'm gonna go to my profile here. If you're just curious and want to know what city these pin are pointing to, or these pin drops, if you just put your cursor on there, it'll bring up the airport. Or your cursor or your mouse cursor, just put it on that particular pin drop, and it will show what city it's pointing to in case you're not familiar where you have been on myFlightradar24. And then another good aspect is under settings. What you can do is, if you just want to make a private or personal, you can do this. If you want to just have your display name, not your identity name, you can just put in a display name. That way you keep your identity a little restricted there. And then under profile privacy, if you want to restrict it, public, or just share it with your friends. And then there's other settings there that you can also set to your liking. But this right here just gives you a little bit more privacy if you want it, or if you want to share it with your friends or other people, you can go in this setting under settings and then put in the appropriate information that you prefer. Well, thank you very much for checking out this video. And I hope this helps you a whole lot in trying to get started with myFlightradar24. And normally what I do, I take a screenshot. If I'm on Radar Flight 24, I take a screenshot of what aircraft numbers or N numbers or registration numbers and the flight time, and then I go ahead and just add that flight, click it on the add here. And then sometimes after I get, like say for example, if I'm traveling today, I can put the data number and the flight number and hit next. And at the end of the, when I get to the step number 4, or step 3, it'll ask me if I want to update the flight information later on. I just click yes for updates. You may see that on some of your flights. Sometimes it appears and sometimes it doesn't. But that's one way you can do it right off the app itself, to get that flight information in there, and then you can update it as you wish later on. So thank you very much for checking out my channel. I hope this helps you a lot with just the basics of myFlightradar24 to log your flights in the future. Thank you very much for your time, and if you would like, welcome to subscribe to my channel for more additional updates and shortcuts on planes, trains, flight simulators, or any other thing.